Well, what's up, everyone? Aaron Nagler here. It says we're live, hope we're live. Good to see everybody. The Packers roll on with a very unusual training camp. We've heard from Coach a couple of times, Devontae Adams, Aaron Rodgers, Kenny Clark. Growing theme coming out of all these availabilities is that these guys, to a man, have said that they really missed football, want to play, and that's why they're there. Can't say I find any of that surprising. We'll hear from Corey Lindsley later this afternoon. Always a good chat. And yeah, other than that, walkthroughs have started, and we've seen some guys placed on the COVID-19 reserve list. Nobody coming off of it yet. But it's all things considered, I think this has been a pretty smooth beginning to what was undoubtedly always going to be a very weird, strange, unusual training camp. So it's good to see everybody in the comments here. And yes, I've got YouTube and Facebook going at the same time. So let me tell you something, Facebook. You got a lot to live up to because our YouTube folks are really cool. So don't come up in here and try and mess it up. That's all I'm saying. Good morning, Jill. Eric, how are you? Thomas, how you doing, man? Good to see all the regulars, especially Big B talking about Jamal Williams being the GOAT. Good stuff, people. I dig these morning chats. Carl, I dig them too. Thanks for hopping on board and saying hi. Go Pack Go from New York City. Oh, here's start off with a hot one. If Love was forced to play this season, would he do better than Hundley did in 2017? I think he'd make more plays. I think his physical abilities, his upside there would help him out greatly. His ability to escape the pocket, make things happen outside the pocket with his legs and arm. I think he could make things work in that regard much better than Hundley ever did. Now, that said, Hundley did know the system somewhat, and obviously Love will be very much working on the fly. But I do think they'd be able to win games with him. They'd have to really kind of pare down the offense, so to speak, a little bit. But yeah, I think they could get by with him. Now, comparing him strictly to Hundley, I think it'd be a wash, really. But yeah, I think the wow plays would be noticeable in comparison. Less chill, less gum chewing. Yes, there would be certainly less gum chewing. Well, we, as far as we know, who knows? Maybe that's something he'll take up as an homage to Hundley. All Hundley did was run back and get sacked. Can blame that on McCarthy expecting him to be Aaron Rodgers. Well, Joey, I think the second part of your comment is somewhat true. I do think not enough was done on McCarthy's part to curtail things and design them around Hundley. They added some wrinkles, but I wouldn't, when you say all he did was run back and get sacked, I mean, that's so dismissive. Go back and watch that Pittsburgh game. He played really well in that. Go watch the game in Chicago. He balled out in that game. It's like, sure, he had lots of bad moments, and we all remember those. But it's not like he was absolutely downright terrible. We have seen terrible quarterback play in Green Bay, Wisconsin, and Hundley was better than a lot of the guys I grew up watching. That's all I'll say. How do we learn the Matt LaFleur offense? I don't know, Alex. I guess you got to subscribe to a training regimen. No, I mean, I don't think we are privy to it, unfortunately. If when Love takes over as QB1, I think he needs to start off with showing Rodgers up with chugging a beer. You guys are vicious, man. Vicious. The real... Ooh, here we go. Oh, can I show it? There we go. Look at that. The real question is, would Love do better than Tim Boyle? I mean, I think that's what they're going to spend the next, however many weeks trying to figure that out. I think that's kind of one of the big questions facing Brian Gutekunst as he looks to shape this roster. I'm of the opinion they will probably keep him up at 2 and keep Boyle as the emergency 3. I think if, for whatever reason, something happened to Rodgers and you had to go with a sub, I think, as I was talking about before, Love's physical abilities, his playmaking abilities could get you through a game. But I think if there's anything, whatever, long-term, as far as, okay, we got to get through a month with a starter, I think Boyle offers you some protection there, simply because knowing the system, etc. But if Rodgers is out for a long, like say we lost for the season, then you just start Love. Why not, right? And get him that experience. The old Howard Mudd saying, if Manning goes down, we're fucked and we don't practice fucked. Same with Rodgers. Corey, yes, I got your email, buddy. Sorry, I've got so much to get to, both email and social wise. But yeah, I will respond. It was a very involved question, and I greatly appreciate it. And I will get there. Danny, thanks for the super chat. Thanks for all you do. Is Rodgers admitting he may not finish in Green Bay all a ploy to help build Love's trade value? No, it's just Rodgers telling the truth. That's it. That's it. No deeper meaning. No backhanded compliment. No nothing. He just knows. I wish Packers fans would get there because Rodgers is there. There you go. Really? You don't want to see Boyle at least starting the year at QB2? Not really. You drafted Love. If Rodgers goes down again, they're screwed. So then get the guy you've invested in some valuable playing time. That's me. It's just how I'm wired. Now, they may totally think differently, and they probably do. Thankfully for you guys. But it happened at Cleo's. What's up? Thanks for the super chat. I'll get that on the screen here. Wait, where'd it go? Where'd it go? There we go. Which former Packer tight end will Sternberger's game resemble? Kaufman, Chimura, Franks, or Finley? That's a really good question. I actually would probably cross him between Kaufman and Finley. I don't think he'll be exactly like any of those guys, but I do think he's got Finley's athleticism, and I think he's got Kaufman's toughness last year is really what showed up as far as a blocking ability that I didn't realize he possessed. I think that surprised a lot of people, including guys on the coaching staff. What else we got? We got Dustin here. Thanks for the super chat, buddy. When Jamal is moved, will we? You're begging for Big B to come after you. When Jamal is moved, will we have a moment of a Big B on here or trivia? Thoughts and prayers wouldn't be enough. Love to Big B. Why you guys got to hate on Big B, man? Big B's the man. Just relax. Thanks for the super chat, Super Edge 99. With our changes in offensive starters, how do you believe the play calling changes this year versus last year? I don't think it changes a ton. I think we'll see more condensed formations. I think we'll see more multiple tight end stuff. I don't think we're going to see as much spread, whether that's with wide receivers, running backs, what have you. I do think you're going to see a lot. We're going to continue to see motion, orbit kind of motion stuff, wheel routes out of the backfield, stuff that, we saw as the year progressed. I think they'll continue to go down that road. My hunch is, and I don't have, this is just guesswork on my part, is we'll see a bit less of the spread stuff that McCarthy liked, that Rodgers wanted to keep around. I do think one of the major new additions that we'll probably see is some form of a hurry-up offense. That is something that Rodgers clearly wanted to get to last year that they never really did. A lot of guys on offense have mentioned it. LaFleur has talked about it a couple times this offseason, something they just never implemented last season. I do think that will be part of their arsenal this year. I think that will hopefully help a lot. I miss Joe Callahan, so you're the one. Isn't he's with somebody still? I think he's with the Ravens. I can't remember. Ooh, Pat McCoy. That's a tough one. Snacks or Griffin? I'd go Snacks myself. Joe, thanks for the chat. Given the positional versatility of the second string O-lineman, do you see us keeping less bodies on the final roster there in favor of more at another position or guys they just like? I think that is going to be, Joe, I think you've really hit on something there because that's one of the tougher aspects this year, I think, as far as putting together the final 53, 56, whatever you want to call it. I do believe we'll see fewer wide receivers, and we'll see maybe not necessarily more O-linemen or fewer O-linemen because of the versatility, especially along the interior. I think it makes it tricky for them. But I don't necessarily think they'll go light just because they have versatility at that position. If they think a guy is capable, really good, etc., they'll probably opt to keep him around rather than subject him to waivers just because especially line play, has been so bad for a number of years now in the league. It's quarterbacks and linemen are like the two that you want to hoard. And I would suspect if the choice was, an extra corner or an extra lineman, they'll probably go lineman. That's just guesswork on my part, and we'll see what happens. Sometimes injuries end up making these decisions for you, right? But I do think that is one of the key parts of roster construction this season because of what you're talking about. They do have, I don't want to call it a logjam, but they have an embarrassment of riches almost along the interior if, obviously, the rookies show that they belong in any way. That's a good question, man. Max, thanks for the super chat. Is it true the Packers wanted to draft Drew Lock, and would you rather have Drew or Jordan Love? Well, I can't answer that second part now. I have no idea. I am very excited about Jordan Love, but I can say definitively 100% because I spoke with someone who knows that, yes, they wanted to draft Drew Lock. That is 1,000% true. Corey, thanks for the shout out, man. Can you clarify fifth-year options? Do you think we would have picked up Kings if he was a first rounder? Well, I don't know what you need clarifying on, Joey, but all first-round picks automatically have them available to the team. That's something that was put in the last CBA. I'm sorry, not the newest CBA that was signed this spring, but the one prior to it. And yeah, you have the option to, and once you do, that salary becomes fully guaranteed. Do I think they would have used it on Kevin King? Probably not, because of his injury history, and he's up until last year inability to stay on the field. I do think he has a lot riding on staying healthy this year, because if he can play all 16 games and be productive again, he's going to make money. And I don't know if it'll be necessarily with Green Bay, but some team's going to pay him a whole lot of cash if he can stay on the field and be productive. What's my favorite Demovsky story? Oh dear. Oh no. Not suitable for print. Let's put it that way. I love me some Rob. Adams thinks Lazard will step up this year. Are we in agreement with that? Brandy, 1,000,000,000%. Been saying it all offseason. I got him down for 1,000 yards. That's right. You heard me right here. I've said it all offseason. I think he's phenomenal. I think he's exactly what they need at that number 2 wide receiver spot. I know there are people who look at him only strictly in terms of his limitations. I look at him 100% through the lens of a guy who is on the ascension. I think we've only seen this player scratch the surface of his potential. I'm not saying he's going to come out and be Calvin Johnson. I am saying he's going to be very productive, especially with teams rolling coverages towards Devontae, putting their best corners on Devontae. Lazard is going to eat, no doubt in my mind. Do you see a difference in throwing mechanics in Rodgers from 2010 to now? Footwork doesn't seem as good. Oh, Michael, you're touching the third rail there. We've asked Aaron about that, and he gets all prickly about it. Yeah, absolutely, 1,000%. No question about it. He's much more reliant on the flick of the wrist, the sidearm thing. Doesn't set his feet often. Those mechanics have led to some bad throws. There's zero question about it. But he's also been insanely effective with it. He was in the conversation for MVP in 2016 with many of those bad mechanics. It's what I keep saying. People, talk about Aaron Rodgers and his game and, is he going to change? It's like he is who he is, and he's been developing habits, both good and bad, throughout his career. And, he's been very successful doing it his way. And I don't see that changing anytime soon. Stefan, thanks for the super chat, man. Do the quote smartness of the players with regards to COVID as big factor or going deep this season? All right, some missing words there, I think. But do I think the players being smart, especially away from the facility, will have something to do with how far they go? I do, 100%. And you've heard Coach, Kenny Clark, and Aaron Rodgers all mention it. It's about the teams. And I said this on Twitter, and it's sad that this is the world we live in now, but it's true. Coaches and teams are going to frame this as another area to compete. The teams that have the guys who are the smartest away from the facility are going to be in the best shape, are going to be in the best place. Now, they're obviously going to be other injuries. That's football, of course. But now you've added a whole nother layer of responsibility on the players, and not just the players, the coaches, the trainers, everyone in the facility. These are all things that have to be taken into consideration. And yes, I do think how smart guys are away from, the place. And I think Devontae, said it best yesterday. He has no problem being a hermit. They need 53 guys just like that with that mindset. Now, will they have that? Of course not. Everybody's different. All you can hope is that guys are making smart decisions as they leave. But look, here's the other thing. And I think it was Brian who put that out there during his availability a couple days ago. Guys can do everything right and still get exposed. Guys can get everything right and still end up on the COVID-19 reserve list. Just because they're there doesn't mean they've been irresponsible. But the NFL has also instituted a lot of punitive measures should they find out that guys have been irresponsible. So I think it behooves everybody to be smart away from the facility. Nicholas, thanks for the super chat, man. How does someone like Cole Madison get cut when there hasn't been practice yet? Well, I'm sure some of that is down to what they saw in practice last year. There's deadlines for action, right? And there was no reason to get rid of him up until now. And now that they've got new guys in the building and they've had their draft. And the other thing is I haven't seen yet his designation upon getting cut. He may have failed his physical. Don't forget, he was coming back from a torn ACL. But, lots of times these roster decisions are made because of what you're projecting going forward and nothing to do with what the guy has done on the field. And I suspect that's the case. Javier, thanks for the super chat. Bears still suck. F the damn horn. And oh, yes, bring back BJ Raji. I don't think I've ever seen a more perfect super chat in my life. Thanks, brother. Being boring Green Bay is all of a sudden a luxury. Matt, Rob and I talked about it in our chat. Let's Talk Football chat. If you haven't checked that out here on the YouTube channel, make sure you do. It's kind of going to help. Ain't a whole lot you can do. Now, obviously, guys can get into a car and drive to Milwaukee, and they do a lot. Hopefully, that doesn't happen. Or at least not a whole lot. Speaking of driving to Milwaukee and Chicago, I don't know if anybody saw, but look, it looks like the charges against Z were dropped. So that's a good thing. Dustin, thanks for the super chat. I will miss AZ Cheeseheads this year at the bar. I hear you, man. I hear you. I know fans are not allowed in practice, but what about media members? Todd, that is going to be a rotating nightmare. There are, I think, 6 media slots that will be given out somewhat permanently to people who cover the team day to day. So guys like Rob, Matt Schneidman, a couple others, probably Ryan Wood, maybe Tom Soderstein. Those types, so to speak, will be someone within that slot of 6 will be there every day reporting on practice. Myself and, TV people, blah, blah, blah. There is another kind of 20 slots that will be rotated through. I will be there from the 16th through the 29th. I thought there was really no reason to be there until the pads come on. So I'll be there once the pads come on. And then, those 6 get to stand where the media traditionally stands during training camp. For myself, I'll be in the stands at Nitschke Field, properly socially distanced away from everybody. But that's where I'll be chilling before practice. John, been missing Packers trivia. When's the next one? John, they're done for the offseason, buddy. We put that up as an offseason activity. We had a lot of fun with it. But now that news is starting to ramp up again, it's a little bit too much, especially with everything going on at LiveX, Cheesehead TV ramping up. It's just too much. We may bring back a trivia segment for transplants or for another show we're working on. So keep your eye out for that. Does McCarthy's time in Green Bay warrant any Hall of Fame consideration? Arguably the second best team over 15 years. Daniel, if you're talking about Packers Hall of Fame, there is zero doubt he'll go into the Packers Hall of Fame. If you're talking about the Pro Football Hall of Fame, let's get Mike Holmgren in there first. But yeah, he'll be in the Packers Hall of Fame. No doubt. Hey, Nags, do you see the Packers running any 3 tight end sets with Jace, Big Dog, and DeGuara? Yes. Would love to see them all on the field with Devontae and Jones. So much potential at tight end this year. Go, Pack, go. Yeah, absolutely. 1,000,000,000%. I referenced that talking to LaFleur yesterday. The touchdown that Devontae has in the Seattle playoff game, the second one, that came off of a 3 tight end set. I think there's a whole lot you can do with this personnel grouping. And I think that's what this system is all about, right? Getting so many different guys into so many different situations and formations that the defensive coordinator and the defensive play caller can't really hone in on anything from play to play. And yeah, I think those 3 makes a nice triumvirate that you could pack in or spread out or utilize any way you want. So, yeah, I don't doubt that you'll see a bunch of that this year. No question about it. Otis, thanks for the super chat. That Griffin news has sort of fizzled out. Love to have him. Like I said at the time, it seems pretty clear that that was a ploy for leverage against the Vikings, trying to drive up the price. Look, I'm zero doubt that the interest is genuine on the Packers' part, but I'm also sure that the Packers have said, look, we'd love to have you. We can't break the bank for you, but you're welcome here if you so desire. So, yeah, I can't say I'm surprised that it's fizzled out. I agree with you. I'd love to have him as well. Dustin, thanks for the super chat. Only Hall of Fame talk that needs to happen is Leroy Butler. Now we are cooking with gas. No doubt about it. All right, guys, I gotta go. I gotta get going. I can't thank you enough for hanging out, chatting Packers. Thanks to everyone who has subscribed on YouTube, everybody who likes us on Facebook. You guys are the best. Thanks for making Cheesehead TV part of your daily routine. Hit like on the video, subscribe to the channel, tell your friends, tell your family. Cheesehead TV, we are devoted to Green Bay Packers fans worldwide. Thanks a lot, everybody. Have a great day. Go Pack, go.